Well, thank you very much for inviting me here to be part of this panel and to visit beautiful Switzerland. I've never been here before, so it's a real experience for me, and I'm really enjoying the conference because I've been here all 4 days. It's been a fantastic opportunity for me. So I am going to start with this picture. During a rainstorm in 2017, my car flipped over, and the glass in the sunroof shattered over my head. At the time, I didn't know why it was happening, and I didn't know if I'd be okay, and I didn't know at the time it was due to a malfunction of the AI-driven collision avoidance system. So I'll come back to the picture at the end of the talk. So a little bit about me. I was an assistant professor at the Faculty of Education in York University in Canada, and a senior researcher in the Pepper Research Group at the University of Toronto, where I've been teaching in the graduate education program for more than a decade. And I developed, and I've been teaching the Intro to AI course, AI in Education course, for almost 5 years. When I first taught this course, I'm going to read a little bit of my paper here because I'm talking about so many definitions. I want to make sure I read them correctly. So when I first started teaching this course 5 years ago, many of my students didn't know they were using AI applications. Because I would say, what was a typical AI application you would use in your context? And big in the education field, many of them weren't using an AI application. So now, fast forward to this year, I'm teaching the course right now. Almost everyone in my classes has heard of or has used or has students using the generative AI app, ChatGPT, or something similar to it. And prior to being in education, I was a systems engineer and a product manager at Microsoft and a director of IT at Hill & Knowlton. So my technical focus at Microsoft was on networking products, so I have a technical background. And AI was important to the company back then, but we were in a period described by Marvin Minsky as an AI winter, a time of pessimism and cutbacks in research funding for this field, and I'd say pretty much the opposite of the period that we're in right now, with the high level of AI interest at the moment. This technical background has given me an experiential context in the complexities of technological change. Today, I'm a cluster leader of the AI in Education group at the Digital Life Institute, and it's an international research network of multidisciplinary scholars studying the social implications of disruptive digital technologies. And I also lead a small research group of students at the University of Toronto looking at educators' understandings of AI. Just going to carry on here. While I'm speaking from an education perspective, I'd like to begin by defining some of the terms we discussed in our IEEE working group. And then I'd like to share some of my experiences working with adult students in my course. Our group of experts at the IEEE did our best to agree on definitions of AI, data and AI literacy, AI readiness, and AI awareness, and some other terms. And so to begin with, in teacher education, we commonly grapple with technology transience and how this challenges us to stay current when it's very time-consuming to identify, understand, and even integrate technology into teaching. So technology transience, well, at least Muhlenberg and Burge is who I refer to because they use the term related to teacher education, but it's been used by others. But it refers to the rapid proliferation of technology tools, the ongoing and frequent update of these tools, and their ever-shortening lifespans. So that is a definite challenge for those in the education field trying to integrate technology into teaching. Not all people, educators, of course, are not all of us are skilled in understanding or integrating technology into teaching or supporting learning with technology. This is where we run into the ongoing debate of what are we going to do about plagiarism? What do we do when our students use a tool like ChatGPT to write their essays, to do their work? And some institutions are banning ChatGPT, which I don't see how that'll work. Some are embracing it. The institution I'm with, they suggest we put something right in the course outline or syllabus to say, use it and tell me if you've used it, don't use it, or something in between. And some instructors have integrated it into their courses by saying use it and then critically read through what it's produced for you to say whether this is the correct representation of what you were looking for. This is when we look to when we're thinking about changing pedagogies, which are the ways that we teach, and we've often been teaching the same way for many, many years because it's worked. So the students we've been teaching for many years this way have done fine. That would be everyone in this room. But it's a transformation today that requires support from institutions and training groups and designers and developers if we're going to involve a digital tool, especially one that encompasses AI. So, and that's all the while continuing to function without taking a break from our teaching. This can be a really big leap for those without a technology background to understand the implications, for example, of integrating a generative AI tool built upon a large language model, because not all teachers will understand what a large language model is or what ChatGPT will do. So the challenge with defining what our working group means by artificial intelligence is that there's no agreed upon definition, as I'm sure all of you know. So Virginia Dignam reminds us we can view AI in the following ways. As a specific technology, so specifically it's an AI, that's the AI we're using. The next step in the digital transformation, a field of scientific research, so that's quite common, and then an autonomous entity typified in science fiction, and Tanya already referred to that with some wonderful images of the ways that we sometimes think of AI. I see all of these views in my students as well. So not surprisingly, the definition of literacy is also hotly contested, and I think of literacy, it's best understood as literacy practices in social cultural contexts, some of which are emerging in the context of new technology. So literacy is something that we have to think about as being fluid and changing. Many educators have moved beyond the concept of literacy as the ability to read and write, conventional print text, and new literacies was a term first coined at a time when computers were perceived as a threat to print literacy, and it's been referred to as reading and writing text mediated by digital electronic technologies. So this is one definition that's quite recent. It's produced. This is the definition used by the Maine Department of Education in the U.S. New literacies encompass new ways of thinking about information and experiences, processing with others to challenge and continuously update thinking, and demonstrating new ideas, solutions, and understandings in the manner that best suits a situation. So while today's results from the global OECD's global PISA studies indicate that today's youths do not automatically know how to operate effectively in digital environments, particularly learning environments, I'm used to working with the concept of digital literacy. And so UNESCO defines digital literacy as the ability to access, manage, understand, integrate, communicate, evaluate, and create information safely and appropriately through digital technologies for employment, decent jobs and entrepreneurship, It includes competences that are variously referred to as computer literacy, ICT literacy, information literacy, media literacy. Today, that includes the concept of AI literacy. And yesterday, I think there was a poster about generative AI literacy. So they're ongoing and fluid. And just one more definition. New literacies include data and AI literacy. So our working group settled on the IEEE 3527.2 definition of data and AI literacy, and that's the ability to generate, process, analyze, present meaningful information from data, and develop, use, and apply AI and related algorithmic tools and strategies in order to guide informed, optimized, and contextually relevant decision-making process. So you can see how these definitions have evolved, but they're very difficult to contain or repeat. So that's why I put them written out in the slides. And then you've seen this already. We're going to talk about it throughout. And so two of the authors are here from the Better Ready Than Just Aware article. And so we look at these 7 literacy levels, and we think about the first one, understand and recognize, and that's at the level of data and AI awareness. So beyond that, we have consume, provide, collect, manage, and protect, evaluate and analyze, and create and develop. So there's, again, a lot to frame our way of thinking about data and AI literacy, but it's important that we consider all the aspects. So data awareness or data readiness describes the ability to apply such a basic understanding in an informed, responsible, and outcome-oriented manner in private and professional practice. So further to this, we have the roles, and so the informed prosumer, you can see there, deals with data and AI in everyday life. So this would be someone who knows that they're dealing with AI, and again, sometimes some of my students don't necessarily know that they're dealing with AI. Especially young students, if we look at our kindergarten students and grade 1 students, they might not know that they're using AI. Produces and consumes AI and data in an informed way. So, for instance, deciding not to share their personal data. They're aware of and recognize the importance of data and AI, and they make conscious decisions to provide and consume data or AI tools. And then a skilled user is a step up. They're typically could be knowledge workers, those who use data and AI as aids, not the main object of their activities, and those who have developed skills that include collecting, managing, protecting data, and have the ability to evaluate and analyze data. And then the expert creator develops and governs data and AI-related strategies, methods, and tools. It could be a machine learning expert, a data scientist, a data engineer, and/or a data and AI teacher, and then knows and applies regulations. So now I'm going to talk a little bit about by context. This is the course that I teach. I proposed about 5 years ago, and it's called Intro to AI in Education. It's focused on education and AI, and we know that we cannot separate the AI system from its context. I guess I better talk a little faster. So we don't attempt to agree on a common definition, but it's not always easy to identify a credible definition within each person's context because, as was already said, AI is a very big concept. So we ask users to choose a tool that they might typically use in their context, whether they're a college professor or a kindergarten teacher or anywhere in between, and they may not even be teachers. They may be administrators or people who are interested in teaching because they're a subject expert. So we ask them to choose a typical tool and then evaluate it critically. So we ask them to look for things like bias, data collection, explainability, and ethical considerations, and they share their findings in a presentation at the end. Now I've developed a new course because I've realized that this course can be very big, especially now that we have ChatGPT, which was a real a game changer for people who became much more aware of AI applications. Now I'm teaching a course about ethics, AI ethics in education. And we're asking questions like, whose data is represented? What are the implications? How do we get kindergarten teachers to explain to their students what an algorithmic decision making tool is? How do we explain to our young kindergarten students what's in the black box, which has been suggested? How do our teachers know what's in the black box and how it does what it does? So my hope is that education systems will develop a group of technology teachers who can go into each classroom and teach the youngest students about AI literacy, skills, and readiness, and also teach the teacher, because the teacher will not have had that in their teacher education program. Teachers and those in the education field are tasked with preparing the population for lifelong learning in an AI literate society. So we need to have seats at the table, at the development and design tables, and we need the information and knowledge to live up to that task. These are some key questions we're grappling with, but I'm not going to, I think I'm running out of time, so I'm just going to pass by some of these. I'm going to conclude by saying that we have a need for transparency in understanding the AI systems we're using, even if we're not an informed prosumer. Had I known that the AI-driven collision avoidance system in my car needed to be turned off in a rainstorm, I might not have had this happen to my car. These technologies have to prioritize safety and transparency before they affect everyday citizens. So I'm thinking about everyone from kindergarten on, or before even, having to have a level of AI literacy as a citizen in this world, in this data age. Thank you for listening, and I can be contacted here. Thank you.
Thank you.